In this week's episode, the Speedy Blue Blur is coming to a cinema near you,
PlayStation have announced their competitor to the Xbox Game Pass.
and are EA dropping the FIFA license from their football games. I'm Barry.
And I'm Anthony. This is episode 53 of the Retro Gamer Dads podcast, the podcast for everything retro and retro-inspired. So what have you been up to this week?
Not a lot. You know that I've been really busy at work. Managed to squeeze in a little bit of Sins of a Solar Empire and some Rainbow Six.
Yeah, we got some Rainbow Six in there. When I say we got some Rainbow Six in there, we got spanked on it. Don't know what was happening at all. I felt like they were taking the mick out of us.
I think it was stacked against us last time we played it.
Wasn't particularly nice. And also, not gonna lie, I have been playing some Breath of the Wild as well, which I'm getting back into again. It's one of those games like we spoke about. It's one of those where you play it for so long and you just kind of get a little bit bored.
Yeah, if you give me too much freedom, I do get distracted. And then once I get distracted, I get bored.
Because you explore, you go off and off and off, and then you're like, hang on a minute, what's I supposed to be doing? And then you just kind of lose interest getting back into the main story.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever completed a Grand Theft Auto game because I always just get distracted and just go on like a rampage.
Wait, there's a story in that game?
Allegedly, yeah. And the other game I'd done that with was Dragon Age Inquisition, I think it was.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I
can
actually
do that.
went to the first area and I was like, oh my gosh, look at all of these icons on the map. I've got to do them all. And by the time I finished the entire area, I think there was like one dragon, if I remember right, that I just wasn't high enough level to defeat.
Yeah.
But I did every other mission, side mission, collectible, everything on that area. And I was like, what was I meant to be doing again?
Don't know.
I honestly couldn't remember what I needed to do next. So, again, I just fell out of it.
Assassin's Creed is the one thing I did it with the most.
First one wasn't too bad because it was a bit more linear. Unfortunately, it's not for Rainbow Six Extraction, it's for Siege. But have you seen the Rick and Morty costume that you can get for it?
No.
Oh, you need to have a look at it and you need to watch the trailer.
Okay.
I don't know
I'll have to
why.
watch
I
it.
don't know what it's got to do with Rainbow Six. I'm fairly certain if he was alive, Tom Clancy would not be happy about it, though.
No, I don't think so either. Rick and Morty it's an interesting show. It is not one that I would peg to have any sort of collaboration with Rainbow Six Siege at all.
Well, it's skins for two of the characters. Rick is a skin for Doc. Who would you imagine Morty would be?
I don't know. Not off the top of my head.
Fuse.
Really? No.
I wouldn't have thought. Do you know what, Morty? He reminds me of someone who just like bombs a shit out of a room before entering it.
Maybe Sledge, but not Fuse, no.
No, I was just trying to think of the most useless character. I was going to assume it was going to be him. Shall we move on? Sony's announcement of the updated PlayStation Plus offerings.
I think so, yes. So, this is an interesting one. They're releasing it in, and there is 3 different tiers, technically 4 if you include the last one, which
Yeah, kind of a in-between one, isn't there?
yes. So PlayStation Plus is the original one that was already there. There isn't that much getting added to that one. So you get the same benefits that the PlayStation Plus members get today. You know, the 2 monthly games, the cloud storage, and the online multiplayer access. So it is exactly the same. Nothing's changing. That is the first tier you've got it as.
Yeah. So this is PlayStation Plus Essentials, isn't it?
Yes, it is. So PlayStation Plus Essential is just the first tier, exactly same PlayStation Plus. After this, we have PlayStation Plus Extra. Now, bear with me. Okay, so Essential and Extra, second one. With this, you get all the benefits from the Essential, plus you get 400 plus games from the most enjoyable, the way they've worded it, PS4 and PS5 titles, including hits from third-party partners. Or the best, like they haven't really specified what could be in it, but I'm pretty certain if you think about some hit PS4 and PS5 games, you could kind of know what they would be.
But these tend to be older games, don't they? So
Yes, they do.
maybe like a year or so older. I think some of the titles that they announced was God of War,
Yep.
Spider-Man,
Yep.
and Returnal.
Yes, they were. And they have said that no first-party titles on day one release will be coming to these services. So much like Xbox does that for Game Pass, which is fantastic. Sorry, PlayStation owners, you're not getting the same thing.
Do you think, though, that that's necessarily a bad thing? Now, don't get me wrong. I don't think it's a bad thing them coming day one. From my point of view, I've saved a fortune on Xbox games with them coming to Game Pass day one.
Do you want me to be honest here?
Go on.
I think that they might shoot themselves in the foot here a little bit. Because if people know that these will be coming out in however many months down the line, why buy it day one?
See, the thing I'm thinking of, though, is a lot of Sony's games tend to be very different from the ones Microsoft put out. So just take Halo, for example. Putting that into Game Pass, even though it is struggling with numbers at the moment, that has actually given an instant community of players.
Yes.
That's really good for a game like that. Again, Forza, it's a very online competitive game, and it gives this instant user base for players, which in turn makes more players want to come into it, whether they buy the game or they're playing through Game Pass. Doesn't really matter, but it enhances their experience as well. Sony tend to do a lot more story-driven games. So just say, for example, the new...
Well, like you said, single-player game.
God
You've
of
got
War
Spider-Man,
comes.
which they've said is also coming to the service, and Spider-Man Miles Morales.
Yeah, but that's an older title, isn't it?
It is, but it's still a single-player game.
If they brought, say, the brand new God of War to it, that might be, I don't know, an 8-10 hour game. If they come to PlayStation, what's it called? PlayStation Plus Extra, then, as you say, there's no incentive for people to go out and buy it. These are games that do sell multi-million copies.
But do people want...
It's not necessarily what people want, because everyone wants a free service that gives every
Yes.
game day one. You never gotta please people, you know.
You're never going to get it free. I mean, honestly, Xbox Game Pass is such an amazing thing to have. It's so handy just to be like, if I was playing a game, I'm just going to play, Rainbow Six Infestation. We would not have purchased that game, would we?
No, realistically, no.
No, but how many hours have we put into that?
Quite a lot. Mainly trying to recover our operatives.
Yeah, actually. And then recovering the operatives used to recover the operatives.
Yeah,
But-
and sending out someone else to get the guy who you sent out to get the first guy.
But it's because they've said they're not releasing games day one, but they might be releasing them later on down the line. How long could that be? Players, obviously, I know, yes, God of War might be like an 8 to 10 hour game, but it's a single player game, and someone might be happy to wait those few months to get it into the service that they're already paying for.
Yeah, but if that's the case, they were maybe not the kind of person who was going to buy it on launch anyway. I don't think it's a cop-out them not putting the games in day one.
Yeah.
Now, they've said that the reason for that is they want to keep these type of games with the production values they've got, and they can't do that if it does go into the service straight away.
I guess we'll see what comes to it about how it impacts it.
One thing I will say, though, is this price is essentially Xbox Game Pass Ultimate price, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
So for that, not only do you get all those games on the Xbox, plus on the PC, you also get Xbox game streaming.
Yeah.
Which Sony have actually rolled in the PS Now into PlayStation Plus, specifically for the next tier.
Yes. So we'll go to the next tier, and then what we'll do is talk about the prices and about what they each involved a bit more detail. PlayStation Plus Premium is the last tier, and it provides all the benefits from the essential and extra tiers, as another 340 additional games for PS3 games via the cloud, as well as some PS2, PSP, and original PlayStation games. Then they also get, like we said, cloud streaming for the original PlayStation, PS2, PSP, and PS4 games. You can also stream games using the PS4 and PS5 consoles and PC.
Yeah, so the way that's written, so I wonder if you can stream these games to your PC then, a bit like you can with Xbox game streaming.
I read all this through earlier and never really twigged it until reading it just then. I'm like, hang on a second.
Yeah.
And also with this, you also get time-limited game trials as well offered
So
for the tier.
basically a demo. I remember when that wasn't a
Yes.
premium feature to have a demo.
Well, I don't know. It might be one of those where like EA does like a 10-hour trial to games.
Mm.
Now, the costings. What do you think to the pricing of the different tiers?
So just really quick, should we run through these prices? So
Yes.
this is in US dollars. So it's $10 for the essential, 15 for the extra, and 18 for the premium. Um, I think that they're about the average that Microsoft have set, really, aren't they?
They are. But do you really feel like there'll be a big competitor to the Game Pass?
Well, yeah, I don't see why not. Sony dominate the console gaming in both
Yes.
the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5's generation. So they've already got this big user base. And anyone who is on the normal PlayStation Plus or whatever it's called
Plus,
will
yeah.
be rolled into the newer tiers. So they're going to have quite a big user base for these really quickly.
You need to pay for PlayStation Plus to play online, don't you? Anyway. So
Yes.
straight away, anyone's on PlayStation Plus, which I think will be a good fair amount of people. Like you said, already onto the first tier. And if you're way out, I mean, as soon as they announced Xbox Game Pass, it was kind of a no-brainer, wasn't it? If you're already
Yeah.
paying monthly for gold, why would you not switch over to Game Pass or Game Pass Ultimate?
It's one of those where it's like a ladder, isn't it? So you
Yes.
step on the first rung, it's $10 to play online, but for an extra $5, you can have access to all these games. Oh yeah, go on. I'll just go up a little bit and pay that extra $5. Or but for an extra $2, you can also stream these games as
Yeah.
well. Go on, I'll pay that extra $2. So it's one of these where it's
You
quite sneaky.
coaxed
It
me.
just yeah. Next thing, you're teetering on the top rung, and you're like, how did it get up here?
The different tiers are there if you're going to use them.
Yeah, I think this can be a serious competitor to Game Pass. It depends how it's pulled off, though, because
Yes.
with Game Pass on the Xbox, it is pretty seamless. You just go into your games, it goes, do you want to see all the games you got access to through other services like EA Access, Xbox Game Streaming, Xbox Game Pass? And it just bundles them all in with your game. So you can just click it and either download and play or start streaming straight away, depending on what service you're using. If they can integrate it into the PlayStation 4 and 5 like this, then yeah, I think this will do really well, to be honest.
But I wonder if they'll add perks that like Game Pass does. Because Game Pass offers quite a lot of perks that for members for different games and the
Mm,
add-ons and stuff like that, which that
it
might not be
does.
much. But like, Crunchyroll, I had a 75-day free trial, which I used and then got one from you as well. And they offer a lot of perks that will cost quite a bit of money, if I'm honest. Just rolling into it every now and then.
They do. I remember I got like a month's worth of Disney Plus and I
Yeah.
used it to watch WandaVision or something. They're nice perks. I don't think anyone ever signs up to Xbox Game Pass because they're thinking,
No.
oh, I might get a month worth of Crunchyroll or Disney Plus for free.
No, just nice little benefits.
What I do think is the unique thing about this, well, it's not actually unique, but it's a stronger proposition than what Microsoft actually offer, is access to the PS1, PS2, and is it PSP? Yeah,
Yes.
PSP titles. I do not own a PlayStation 4 or 5. However, that might entice me.
So you can play some of the PSPs at least.
Yeah, just play any of the old PlayStation games. To be honest, I'm more
Yeah.
interested in the PS1 games than anything else. Depending on the selection of games, that could potentially entice me to go and buy like a second-hand PlayStation 4 and sign up to this to get access to, if there's something like Suikoden or The Legend of Dragoon, that might actually entice me. Not necessarily to switch sides to the Sony PlayStation from Xbox, but maybe have it's like an addition.
We were speaking earlier in the year about PlayStation closing down some stores, weren't we?
Yeah, so they were closing the PS3, Vita, and the PSP stores.
Yes. No, they're closing those stores, but then they're actually going to add a lot of games into the streaming service. Before people kicking off about the stores being closed, do you reckon they'll be fussed now if they add loads of them into this service?
Yes, because it's not only being able to buy these games, it's whether or not you can continue to play them in the future. And I know personally, if I wanted to play, it just for argument's sake, say a game like Suikoden went on.
Yeah.
Now, that's a very expensive game to buy physically. But I think on
Yes.
the PlayStation Portable store, I think it was like £2.
Yeah, I remember you saying about that, and you went because you and Phil went over a few of them, where saying purchase these gems.
Yeah, yeah. I'd rather go on there, purchase that game for £2 than have to pay $17 a month to be able to stream it.
No, I get you. One of the games that I would play on this would be the Ratchet and Clank series. I enjoyed those games. I actually completed them. I remember I had a PS2 and I played through a good
Yeah.
couple of them. There was like a racing one, and I think there was two normal sort of games, but I quite enjoyed them.
Yeah. What one thing that we actually mentioned though when we were talking about Sony closing down some of the online stores is we did actually say I wouldn't be surprised if they were closing them because they were bringing out
Oh yeah, we
some
did.
sort of service with these games and to force people to migrate across to it.
Yeah,
And while I really appreciate Sony doing this, bringing back up to 350 classic PS1, PS2, PS3, and PSP games, ultimately, it's a very small selection, and how long will you have access to them? It's still my concern about preservation of games, something that we go over like every other episode, it feels
Oh,
like.
well, yeah, that's the thing. It is a massive important thing. But then also, when they're adding all these games in, are these going to be the only games? Are they going to remove some, put some more in? We don't know an awful lot. We do have a lot of information for
Yeah.
the different tiers. Don't get me wrong, but we don't have more specifics.
No, so this is actually launching in, I believe, Asia first, then America, and then Europe, and then the rest of the world afterwards. June is the start of the rollout, but it is phased. So we might not see it till, I don't know, August, September, November.
Yeah. Now, lastly, in regards to talking about different tiers, there's one tier we didn't really mention because it's not actually a tier as such.
It's
So
not
it's
a tier you can select. It's whether or not they select this for you, isn't it?
yeah, it's depending where you are based. So it's PlayStation Plus Deluxe. Oh, that's word, man. So it's in selected markets, including Australia, and it's for markets that have not got cloud streaming. So some parts of the world don't have cloud streaming at this moment in time, and so PlayStation Plus Deluxe will be offered at a lower price compared to Premium, and it will still obviously include the games from PlayStation, PS2, PSP, stuff like that, as well as game trials and different benefits. I guess it's a good way to make sure that they do reach all the world.
Yeah. So that to me says that Sony still have no intention of doing true backwards compatibility with PS3 games.
No,
So I'm assuming there's still every PS3 title is going to have to be through streaming. Just reading that.
exactly.
Do you know what though? I'd be more inclined to pay like, I don't know, $8 a month just to get access to the PS1, PS2 from PSP games.
Yeah, but that's because that's the ones we grew up with, isn't it?
Well,
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 I grew up with. That's what I
kind
grew
of.
up with.
I didn't, and there's a lot of PlayStation titles, like original PlayStation titles, that interest me.
Sorry.
And this isn't a slight against the console, but the PS2, I have no interest in.
I remember when the PS2 came up with the was it the iCamera or something? What was the camera that they had?
Yeah, the PlayStation Eye.
That's what I remember the most about the PS2. Not much else.
I just
Skipped it.
nah. I literally owned the other three consoles of that generation: the Dreamcast, the GameCube, and the Xbox. Loved all three of them. I had no interest in the PlayStation 2 at all.
In all fairness, the PlayStation 2 for us is like fleeting. And then the Xbox came out, we're like, yeah, stuff you.
Yeah. I saw Halo and was like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm getting an Xbox now. Sorry, GameCube.
Bye.
One thing I'm just maybe slightly cautious about is, and Nintendo have done this as well. They're putting the heritage of their games behind a paywall. So if you can't go on and just buy, say, a individual
Yeah.
PS1 game to play on your PS4 or PS5,
That's what I mean. At least Xbox has still got the option to purchase the original Xbox and 360 games, and they've got
Yeah.
no intention of stopping that. And they've said that they've got no intention of stopping it.
Yeah, I think there's a few games that you can play if you have the disc, but you
Yes,
can't
there is.
purchase. And I think that's more to do with licensing than anything else.
Mm.
But you don't have to pay for Game Pass Ultimate if you've got a copy of Halo Combat Evolved on disc and you want to chuck it in your Xbox Series X and play it.
Well, like we said, there was someone who was playing Halo, and they had it across an original Xbox, a 360, a One, a Series, and the PC, didn't they? All at once.
It didn't have the PC.
Oh, okay.
It was
But
just
still,
the 4 generations of
that's
Xbox.
still impressive, though.
Well, yeah, the backwards compatibility is there on a hardware level. It's not, you don't have to stream the game, for example, like they are with the PlayStation 3. And I'm
Yeah,
fairly certain the PlayStation 5 is more than capable of emulating PlayStation 3. But it's probably just Sony don't want to actually spend that money or invest the time in actually doing this emulator.
lazy.
Yeah, which is a shame because there's some decent emulators out there for the PC.
Oh, I'm sure they could easily do it if they decide to put time and effort into it, like they have done.
Yeah,
Bring
well,
PlayStation Plus tiers.
Well, yeah, but as they've said in the past, they don't see why people would want to play Gran Turismo from, the year 2000 when you can get Gran Turismo 7 on the PlayStation 5 with ray tracing and everything else.
But that's the thing. This is nostalgia. This is history. This is someone who Gran Turismo 3 on an original PlayStation, whatever, could be the first game they ever played, and they want
Yeah.
to relive playing that game again. And it's stuff like that. It's people reliving their childhood memories of playing a game for the first time and being amazed at it.
Not only that, it's genuinely really good old
Yeah.
games. You don't have to play it just for nostalgia. Some of them are genuinely good. And unfortunately, that's where they were released and they were never re-released anywhere else.
I know one day someone might listen to us and be like, hang on a minute, we need to start preserving these games.
Yeah.
That would never
But
happen, though.
speaking of something that might not be preserved much longer from gaming history, the FIFA brand.
So EA are looking to drop the FIFA license. It's been rumored, and it sounds like it could be coming to fruition.
They pay a lot of money to FIFA for the use of the FIFA term in their games.
Yeah, quite a bit.
EA are thinking, do we really need to be paying billions of dollars to FIFA to name
Well,
this?
so currently they pay $1 billion every 4 years, wasn't it?
I think it was something like that.
Something about $1 billion every 4 years.
I have heard it's as high as 2.5 billion though.
As far as I'm aware, they want to increase it. So FIFA want more money, and they've said to EA, okay, stuff that 1 billion. We want 2.5 billion instead, and we want more rights as well. And EA's just gone, nah. So they're looking to explore and get out from FIFA. Apparently, they've been exploring it for a little bit of time though before this
Yeah,
came
I
up.
think we've actually mentioned this on the podcast before, and I've definitely heard rumors of it. And as everyone else is thinking, do you think the series could survive being called something other than FIFA 2023 or?
I think they could if they had the player base to stick with them.
Yeah.
If they did rename it to another name. Now, I think have they registered 2 other names?
Yeah, I think they've registered a couple. So I think the one that springs to mind first is EA Sports Football Club or EA Sports FC.
Yeah. Now, if you are a dedicated FIFA player
Mhm.
and you do like your ultimate team and everything else, and FIFA's kind of like, so I'd say your life, because as you know, some people buy like a PS5 or a Series X just to play FIFA. A bit of a waste.
Yeah, I genuinely know people who have done that.
Yeah. I think they would be smart enough and would happily stick around with the name change. But those people who don't play that much might drop off.
Do you think EA would kind of roll this into, again, their subscription service? So, as part of EA Access, you get access to EA Football Club, and obviously within that, they have the surprise mechanics.
In all fairness, yes. As we are fully aware, FIFA Ultimate Team is one of the ways that they make the most money.
Yeah, because I heard that they were exploring the loss in sales by not calling it FIFA, would that be offset by the amount of money they save? And would people, the so-called whales who spend the most money on these type of titles, would they still come across? I've done no research on it, and I'm fairly certain EA will have or will do before changing the
Yes.
name. But I would imagine the people that are spending, hundreds, thousands of pounds on Ultimate Team are the people that are going to be more savvy and know that next year it's not called FIFA 23.
Wait,
It's going to be called.
you've just said these people spending thousands of pounds, whatever, on Ultimate Team. Savvy.
No, but they are the good. I'm not saying the good with money. I am most definitely not saying the good with money. But these are the ones that are, a bit more savvy about the actual series.
Yeah.
They're not the people who go in the shop and go, "Oh, last year I spent $5,000 on FIFA Ultimate Team. We got the new FIFA," and they're bored out of his skull guy at GameStop or Game or wherever you buy your titles from. It's like, nah, mate, there's no FIFA this year. There's this football club thing. It's like, oh no, it's not FIFA. I don't want that. That is not going to happen. You're going to get them going in and go, I want the new FIFA, and the guy's got to go, oh yeah, it's actually changed its name. He's go, yeah, I know that. Or
Yes.
I think the only sales you go rarely lose is the kids who go to like the grandparents go, I want the new FIFA for Christmas, and they go in the shop and go,
Can't find
I can't see FIFA, and I don't want to ask the guy at the front. He's got 16 piercings, and they're all in places they shouldn't be. That's realistically the only sales they're gonna lose, aren't it?
You've either thought about this way too much or experienced this way too much.
A bit both.
But
I'll tell you what, though, some of these piercings are a bit uncomfortable.
I don't want to know. Just give it to yourself. But no, I don't think it will damage him that much. But
No.
if EA are clever, they might actually put a notification on the front page of when you launch FIFA saying we will be changing name for the next game. Do this. Do you know what I mean? Try and they might do something like that. Just try and draw me because they can do it's their game. Why not? So
you should do on the if they get like another year out of the FIFA license, have it called EA Sports Football Club FIFA 23.
Well, yeah, because then technically it's still called FIFA, and then just drop the tiny little FIFA. And
If they do change the name to EA Sports Football Club, they better, when it gets to the title screen, it best go EA Sports Football Club. Do you ever remember that where you go EA Sports? It's in the game.
It's in the game.
EA Sports. It's in the game.
Whenever I think of EA Sports, that's what always comes to my head. Just the very deep, like EA Sports is in the game.
Or the other ones that challenge everything.
EA Games.
Challenge everything.
Yeah.
Do you remember that one?
Yes,
Although that wasn't EA Sports.
I remember playing. I think the first football game I ever played was I think it was FIFA World Cup '98. It was I played.
The first football game I played was Commodore International Soccer from like, I don't know, the mid 80s.
Oh yeah, I forgot you're old.
I'm not old. I've just leveled up a bit more.
That was on that card I got you once.
Yeah. One of the politest birthday cards you've ever bought me.
Why? What was wrong with the other one? I can't remember. The other ones I got you.
I can't. They were that horrific. I've blocked them out of my mind. If EA go this way, I think maybe initially they might lose sales, but I think within a couple of years they'll be back to robbing children blind with surprise mechanics and Ultimate Team.
Yeah, no, I think so too. But I'm pretty certain if they save their $1 billion licensing, they can go a year without really selling as many copies as they have done. So, yeah, I don't think EA will take that big of a hit at all. If you think about dropping the licensing fee and then dropping a few people, it's not really going to be that big of an impact for them. Now, before we move on to our next news story, if you enjoy this podcast, we'd love to hear from you. The best way to do this is by leaving us a review on your favorite podcasting app. It'll only take a minute and it's really appreciated.
And if you'd like to support us further, you can visit our Patreon and become a member for as little as £1 per month. You'll receive early ad-free versions of the podcast. You'll even get a shout out in our next episode. And let's be real, what can you buy for £1 nowadays? Like, what, a soggy McChicken sandwich on the pound saver meal or something? Actually, saying that, I think they're still like £1.30 now, aren't they?
Oh, are
And
they?
you have to pay 10p for your paper bag.
You can't. Really?
Yeah. So, look, we are better value than a multinational fast food chain. Yeah.
Stuff you, McDonald's.
So, maybe give us Patreon so we can afford our McDonald's.
Yeah, that would be really appreciated. Thank you.
In all seriousness, every penny goes back into the podcast.
It does. So we do appreciate everything. Should we go back to the news?
Yeah, unfortunately, this one is a bit of a bummer, maybe even for yourself. As you were saying, you've been playing Breath of the Wild recently, and if they've announced Breath of the Wild 2 is being delayed.
It has been delayed. I think it's been delayed for a substantial amount as well, hasn't it? It's been pushed back to spring 2023.
Yeah,
So-
it was supposed to be the end of this year.
Yeah. So if you're hoping for it to be this year, I'm sorry, but you have to wait just a few more months.
So this was actually announced in a video by series director E.J. Numa, who actually said that although they were hoping to get the game out in time for Christmas this year, they're going to push it back because they've run it into a worldwide pandemic while actually making the game, which has probably delayed them a little bit. And I'll be honest, how many games have Nintendo got coming out this year? We were saying this when the Nintendo Direct, it only covered
Yes.
the first half of the year. And
Yeah. I feel like a lot of games are getting delayed recently.
yeah, I think so. And to be honest, I don't think that's a bad thing. I think if they
No.
can improve the game, that's great. But you don't want loads of high profile games coming out together and then you have nothing for the following year.
Well, no, exactly. I do like how he has addressed us and spoke to everyone. He did say that in order to make this game's experience something special, the entire development team is continuing to work diligently on this game. So please wait a while longer. So to me, that's him saying, we want to give you the best experience. We want to give you what you need to have. Please bear with us. And as I said, it's nice that he's addressed us this way rather than just a news article or just some lines coming out for it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And who knows? This might even be one of these cross-gen titles where there might be Nintendo Switch Pro or Switch 2 or wherever, and it might be a title that
Yeah.
comes across
delayed
both
it back.
generations.
They've
Well,
delayed it for the reason with it.
In all fairness, that's exactly what they've done in the past, most recently with Breath of the Wild, where it got delayed quite heavily on the Nintendo Wii U, and then ended up being basically a swan song to the outgoing Wii U and a launch title for the incoming Nintendo Switch.
Yes, but that game still holds its price as well to this day.
It really does.
It really. I remember when I got the Wii U from my parents and they gave me Breath of the Wild with that, and ended up trading the Wii U to get the Switch, and I traded the game in for the price I paid for it. Like, a couple years prior, I was like, flipping heck,
Yeah.
how was that?
Bear in mind,
I
this
was
game's just
astounded.
over 5 years old now.
Yeah, so I wasn't impressed, but I said I was kind of looking forward to this because I have been enjoying the first one. I might not have picked it up day one, but I would have picked it up at some point.
Well, it's not cancelled outright, so you can still pick it
No.
up, and I'm fairly certain there'll be some other games that you can play later in the year.
Yeah.
It's a little bit disappointing, but I'd rather them spend a little bit more time, as they say, make it a little bit more special, and there's going to be plenty of other things to play between now and the end of the year. I'm not being funny. You could pick up a couple of things that are coming out in the first half of the year for the Switch, and you'll still be playing them in spring 2023.
You will still be playing Project Triangle by then as well, anyway.
Oh, I need to go back to it. I just need the enemy to, stop being so bad.
Weak.
Yeah.
You need a challenge.
I do. I really do. If you can't wait that long for your gaming fix, though, on the day this podcast came out, so whenever you're listening to it, this will be available. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 is out in the cinema.
Oh, my days. So, yeah, on Friday, the 1st of April, when this podcast comes out, it's out. Go watch it.
Unless you live in the US, in which case you have to wait an extra week.
Yeah, stuff you.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. Please keep listening. No, sadly, it is a week later for the US, but for us in the UK, thankfully, it comes out on the 1st of April. I this evening booked my tickets to go watch it with my 2 sons, so I'm taking it both Saturday morning to watch it.
I'm debating going on the weekend to watch it and maybe taking Elliot, but I don't know if he will be able to sit still for an hour and a half for a movie.
Surely you've taken off popcorn and sweets, not drink because we want to go to the toilet during the movie. It should be fun.
Yeah.
Saying that,
I'm sure I can dig out some nappies from.
I was about to say, just chuck a nappy in them.
Yeah, just nip to Tesco and buy like a cheap pack of nappies and go. Just sit here. You need the toilet. You've got a nappy on it, so one off. This will never happen again in your life until you hit like I don't know your 90s. They definitely missed a trick though. It's not coming out on the 5th.
Why? I asked this question to you earlier. You would not respond to me.
It's a Tuesday.
Okay, what's wrong with it being Tuesday?
They could have done Sonic Tuesday.
Oh my day.
That's original. When the original Sonic 2 came out, that was the big thing about it. It came out and it was on a Tuesday, and it was known as Sonic Tuesday.
No, upset. I'm out the room. Done.
Go on, come back.
I did not expect. I kind of thought Sonic. Is it something to do with Tuesdays? Is it wording? I'm like, no, it can't be. Something like, of course it is.
I'm excited. It looks good. I enjoyed the first one. The first one was quite nice. Oddly enough, like a buddy. What's it called when you go on like a really long drive?
Road trip.
Road trip. Yeah, it was like a buddy road trip film.
Well, yeah, I'm excited for it. I'm gonna have to watch the first one again just to prepare myself ready for the second one. And I know the boys will be absolutely hyped to go see this when I tell them that I've got the tickets booked in. And yeah, I can't wait. But one good thing is though, it's beating the Super Mario movie to a sequel, hasn't it?
Well, yeah. So Super Mario Brothers was the first video game adaptation into a movie.
Yeah,
and they won't get not really a sequel, but a second movie until next year.
Yeah.
Sega does what Nintendo don't.
In all fairness, they did good with the first one after the fans kicked off about Sonic. Can you imagine? Yeah. Can you imagine if that Sonic version did stick around? That's the nightmares.
I've said this before. If they brought out a special Blu-ray version of that with the original CGI, out of absolute morbid curiosity, I would pick that up.
You never know. On the Sonic DVD for the original one that came out, it might have been.
Doesn't. No,
it doesn't. Okay. Seeing that Sonic was just a thing of nightmares.
I'm so glad they changed it. I'm so glad they changed it.
You know, the other one, I'm pretty certain every single person who saw that trailer thought the same thing.
Yeah, except whoever it was who was doing the budget for the film, who was like, this cost us a lot of money. What did they mean? They want to change it?
In all fairness, I'm pretty certain they made it back with the revenue because it did so well.
Well, unfortunately, the company that done all the CGI went bankrupt from it.
Is it because of how bad they did the first place?
No, it was the one who redone the CGI.
Oh,
I don't know if they initially done it as well, but from what I remember reading, unfortunately, it bankrupted them.
That's a shame. That is a shame. But no, I'm looking forward to this.
And I'm still slightly triggered that his arms are blue.
Yeah, I would happily take that compromise as to what it could have been.
Yeah, I definitely preferred the new style with blue arms than the old style with tan arms.
Yeah, 100%. But unfortunately, I don't think Sega will be responding to you on Twitter this time for the Sonic.
Hopefully not. I don't think my relationship could actually take it. In all fairness, at least it's not coming out Valentine's Day this year.
Yeah, I know. So you kind of dodged a bullet there, haven't you?
Yeah. I'm just hoping that come Friday that Sega don't go, April Fools! It's not really a real film, we were only pretending.
Oh, that or they say April Fools, actually everyone gets it on the 8th. No offense, I booked my ticket, so I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen.
No. Right. Well, I think that's all we got for this week, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is. I thought it was pretty good news week. Sad about FIFA, but you know, it is.
Yeah, I love sports ball though in general. Right. Well, I think that's all we've got news-wise for this week. If you want to find information on anything we've talked about in this episode, you can view the full show notes at retrogamingdads.co.uk.
We've been the Retro Gaming Dads, and we'll catch you next time.
Yeah, they
So far.
actually put a video up, didn't they? So
did,
the
yes.
series director, E.G. and the series director, E.G. and do you know what? I could say this before, and now I can't say it.